Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine with another unboxing video. And this time, this is the positive version of the Who's Next Lifehouse Super Deluxe Mega box set. One of the heaviest box sets I've ever owned, bought, or tried to pick up. As you know, I did a quick review when I bought this the first time round, and my book had several pages missing and other pages in the wrong order. That has been fixed by Universal, so this is a new version of the box. So I'm going to show you what's in the box so you've got an idea. Those of you who haven't jumped yet, I'm going to give you my review of what I think of the box set itself, what I think of maybe the price point of this, and then for those of you who want to stay a bit longer, I'm going to give you my feelings and experiences of Who's Next and what the album has meant to me over the years. So first of all, let's dive in and see what's in this. So here we go. The Who's Next Lifehouse, the Super Deluxe Edition. 10 CDs and a Blu-ray. I'm not going to read out what it says on the label. You just want to see what's inside it, don't you? This is one of the heaviest box sets in my collection. It's absolutely colossal. Most of that weight is made up of the second book, which is the illustrated graphic novel. So I'm just going to try and ease everything out of the outer slipcase in one go. This is a very, very sturdy box, an incredibly big box. I think where's the best place to start with this? Let's start with the discs, shall we? So discs 1 to 6. These are in these fold-out panels that we're used to seeing. The difference is that each disc is in its own little card cover, so they're not just discs that could easily fall out, which is nice to see. And the design of each one has got some graphics from the time that are relevant to what's actually on the disc. So you've got 2 discs of demos, the New York sessions, March '71, Olympic Sound London sessions, and then a disc of all the singles as well, and of course the original album, and then discs 7 to 11, which again, this is Young Vic 71, 2 discs for those, and then the San Francisco disc 1 and disc 2, and again there's artwork on the front and back with some relevant pictures. And of course the last disc is the Blu-ray with slightly oversaturated cover to make it a bit different, and this also has lots of bonus tracks on as well, which I'll talk about in the summary. I just want to show you the actual package at this point. The memorabilia pack folds out like so, and inside here you have these little badges, and it's very important that when you have these badges you pack them with the pointy bit sticking up, not the other way around. Most people, when they receive this, they're pointing down, which can cause damage or little dimples in whatever's underneath them. Usually, for most people, it was a black and white photo. But for my set, it's fine. But always pack them that way down. So in this set are, let's just let that fold itself back, is the black and white photograph, as you can see here, with some autographs off the front, which is really nice. Then you've got the tour program facsimile from 1971, which is also a nice touch. Then you've got a rainbow program for what's coming on. I like this probably of all the memorabilia the most of all, because it talks about what else is coming on after the Who. You've got Mountain, Wishbone Ash, the Who Pool, Alice Cooper, Frank Zappa, Curved Air, Skid Row. And I love obviously the adverts from the time as well. So this was at the time also that not only Who's Next was coming out, but Brain Capers and Flowers of Evil by Mountain and Mott the Hoople respectively. And we've got a big section on obviously the Who, then Alice Cooper, and some adverts, and also an article on the band Quiver, who were the support band. Nice little advert for Private Eye, and what's coming out from Harvest. So you've got Pink Floyd and East of Eden, Barclay James Harvest, etc. Superb. And then you've got 3 posters, which are great because they're from the time. So the Who. I'll bring these up separately as well. So just as I bring this up, I'll let you see a better version on the screen. And the last one is coming up on the screen now. So those are the posters and the memorabilia set, and then we have book. I'm going to go with the second one first, I think. This is the graphic novel, and I'm not going to go through every page here because it's massive. This is a massive book, and again I'll talk about what I think in the summary. So you can see here it's massive. This is the vision of Lifehouse in Pete's mind, which has been pulled together by some very, very talented people. As I say, I'm not going to go for all of it because I want you to enjoy this. If you're going to get it, or if you've already got it, you can tell me what you think in the comments. Obviously the Who are there as well. So enormous, weighty book, a graphic novel for Lifehouse. And then the main book, the one that I had all the problems with, which are now completely 100% fixed, is the book of the album. And this is superb. So this to me is what makes these box sets, because everything has been thought of. And I'll talk about how does it fit in with the other little booklets that you got with the 2 CD deluxe edition that came out prior to this, and then the other booklet that came out with the original remastered CD. But Pete's involved in this. Lots of pictures I've never seen before. A lot of background to Lifehouse, all the lyrics, the story of the album, lots of memorabilia, lots of photos from sessions that I know some of it, how Lifehouse has re-emerged through different releases over the years with Psycho Derelict, etc., even Endless Wire, and then again essays on the album, then track by track analysis with lyrics, obviously, some wonderful photographs going through the whole thing. And then it gets really interesting because we can go through the Lifehouse demos, track by track, lots of, again, analysis and personal insight, going through each CD that's in the set. Then we've got whole sections on each CD to do the record plant sessions, Leslie West, how he became involved, does a great tracks, by the way. This little piece here just shows there was an edit to some of the text, so it's nothing to be concerned about. And the London sessions, more pickies, and then the single sessions. This was the bit that was missing in my first book, and I really wanted to see this because it talks about some of my favourite tracks like Relay, The Seeker, and Join Together, Let's See Action. So all that's in there as well. Then disc 7 and 8 live at the old Vic in London. Then San Francisco, some stuff about that as well. And as we reach the end of the book, we've got the Blu-ray Atmos 5.1 mix with Stephen Wilson telling you what he had to do to produce that. And then we're right at the end with all the credits. And that is Who's Next? Lifehouse, the super deluxe edition. So that is a look inside the Super Deluxe edition of The Who, Who's Next / Lifehouse, a project that Pete Townshend's been trying to put out for such a long time that this is definitive. There are lots of different variations of this. There's the very expensive version, which I've got here. There's vinyl versions, there's half-speed mastered versions, there's CD versions with various bits not included or are included, etc. It's everywhere. And of course, there's been lots of criticism about it for various reasons. Nothing to do with the sound. Probably just to do with the presentation. I had my issues, which have been fixed. Some people bought the vinyl box set and found out they got the standard mastered version and not the half-speed mastered versions, and vice versa. Or some of the memorabilia packs have been bodged by the pins from the badges inside. All sorts of little things like that, really. And the price has been very, very variable. I paid, I'll be honest, £195 for this. The first one I bought, I paid £230 for it. And when I had to send it back, the one I bought next, the price had dropped. But of course, some of you, lucky people out there, managed to get one from Amazon France for about £95. And some of you, who pointed this out on the Now Spinning Magazine Facebook group, which is a great place to be if you want to make sure you're at the front end of any bargains, this was available in Finland for literally £60, including postage, to the UK. So how do I feel knowing that I spent literally 4 times as much as perhaps I needed to? Now, with some box sets, when I've spent this amount of money, as soon as I take the lid off, I don't even think of the price. I'm so enamored to it. If you're not a massive Who fan, you'll have left this where it was. You might have had the 2 CD version from a few years back, or the original remastered CD version, and you think, well, that's enough for me. It might be. I'm not in any way in this video trying to encourage you to buy something you don't need. If you are a Who nut, fanatic, uber fan, then you've probably already got it, and you probably just want to see whether what you've done makes sense. You won't be getting rid of these, I can tell you that now. This isn't the case if someone else you live with, your better half, is saying, well, if you've got that, you don't need these. These have got different essays in and different pictures, and you aren't going to get rid of them. Of course, the Young Vic gig is on here, so there's only 3 tracks missing from that, and then you've got the Record Plant sessions as well. But there are enough exclusive tracks to this set that, as you've just seen, it's going to, get your interest. My only other thing to do with the Who, it's not Pete or Roger's fault, any of this I'm about to say, but I've been bitten before when I bought box sets by the Who. Quadrophenia box set is a great example. I spent about £100 on that, and there were only about 8 tracks in 5.1. And I thought, well, they must have done the others. And indeed they had. And that came out later on its own. With the Who Live at Leeds Super Deluxe Edition, the main kind of enticement to make you buy that box was obviously the Live in Hull set, which got released separately for about £10 a few months down the line. So there's a good chance that the Live in San Francisco bit of this box set may also appear later on down the line. But so be it. I mean, for those of you wondering about that, it sounds absolutely amazing. Pete Townshend's guitar tone, the roughness, the rock and roll, the hard rock and metal aspect of Pete Townshend, whatever you might think of Pete. And he might say, nothing to do with me, mate. This heavy metal stuff, I had nothing to do with it. You listen to the way he moves from one riff to the next, and Roger Daltrey ad-libs to almost as if he doesn't know what Pete's going to come up with next. Those riffs on the long version of My Generation from Live at Leeds, that's heavy metal being invented right there. And a lot of those aspects are here, and the elongated tracks on here, Won't Get Fooled Again, 11 Minutes, San Francisco, the stuff. I mean, the sound quality of the live stuff is fantastic. The extra tracks that you won't have heard from the Young Vic, etc., are absolutely brilliant. For me, it was the Blu-ray. Will that come out separately? Who knows? Possible, isn't it? Possible. But the 5.1 mix by Stephen Wilson, because he gets all the top stuff now to tweak, and he's done an absolutely amazing job, as usual with any of Stephen Wilson's surround sound mixes. They're just like, they bring out things that were always there, but in a way that doesn't frighten you from what you used to know, but takes you on a new journey with like a family favourite to something you've known all your life, but the key part for me, one of the key parts is, I'll talk about when I talk about why this album means a lot to me in this whole period of the Who, is the unedited long version of Join Together, which is 6 minutes, and Relay. To hear an extra minute of Relay in surround sound did make me just forget about how much I'd spent. Yes, really, just on that one song. It really did. The booklet, some of you might think, oh, the graphic novel, man, I mean, if he'd left that out, it weighs a ton. That would have reduced the size of the box and maybe the price. This is Pete's vision and dream. This is a project he's been trying to compile and put together to make sense of since 1970. And he's going to put it in. This was definitive. This was everything. And so it's in there. And I know some reviews, like Record Collector magazine, said, well, you look at it once and put it away and never look at it ever again. Well, maybe they won't. But if you're a Who fan, you will. And of course, the main book itself, the one I had trouble with, which now I don't, because all the pages are in the right order, that is amazing. That's a kind of coffee table book where I think you're always going to have it on your lap when you listen to this. Like I recently said with the Mock the Hoople, box set, these things go together. The music sounds fantastic. This version, all the demos, the live stuff, all the remastering, the remixing, it sounds fantastic, okay? But having all the memorabilia and the book in front of you just gives you, all of your senses are engaged because you're listening, touching, looking, all your senses are engaged. Short from having Who-themed sweets to be tasting at the same time, all of your senses are engaged in this. You're not wandering around the house thinking about what you've got to do tomorrow. You are engaged in Who's Next. And so if you are a Who fan, the price now is heading off towards the stratosphere, towards £300 if you want this version of it. And it's just fantastic. So that's the box set for the Who's Next Lifehouse project. You've seen inside it, and that's my review of it. It sounds fantastic, and if you're an Uber fan, it's something you're going to want. But there are obviously lots of different variants for you to dip in and out of, depending on how much of this album you want. So let's move on now to what this album means to me, and why I feel it is so special. Is it my favourite Who album of all time? No, it's not. That would be Quadrophenia, which is going to be the subject of a totally different video, and I'm going to absolutely dive in deep with that one. But this would be my second favourite Who album, and it's not that far behind in a way, and that's why I ended up spending so much to get hold of this. But it's because of the extra songs that make up the Lifehouse project that made this so essential to me. Tracks that, extra long tracks, versions of songs that are my favourites. And in fact, I'm now going to tell you what is my favourite Who song of all time, because it's in this project and it wasn't part of the original album. And it's a song that got left off most Who compilations. And there's been tons of Who compilations over the years, and this track always got left off. It's only in most recent years that it started to be presented, maybe because it wasn't a massive hit, but the song itself is fantastic. Now, this period generated lots of singles by The Who that didn't make it onto albums, like Joined Together, another absolutely anthemic song that has never ever dated in my eyes. Joined together with the band. Oh, it's just amazing. But the track that means the most to me that's on here is Relay, with the B-side by Keith Moon called Wasp Man. Relay was released in 1973, which shows how long this project, this Lifehouse project by Pete Townshend, had been bubbling away as he tried his best to compile it together. And this is why The Who were releasing so many kind of like one-off singles that weren't on albums, as there was all this extra stuff that never got used. But Relay was well ahead of its time. And on here, as I've said, you get the unedited version, which is better than there's a version from the old rehearsal test, isn't it, where the vocal was live. But it's absolutely brilliant. But, I mean, just look at the lyrics, or listen to the lyrics. You can hear it in the street, see it in the dragging feet. The word is getting out about control. Spies, they've come and gone. The story travels on. The only quiet place is inside your soul. It's almost as if it's talking about social media. And this is like the early 70s. It's absolutely fantastic. It's all wrapped up in the ski, and they all get carried away on the relay. Pass it on. Someone disapproves of what you say or do. I was asked to see what I could learn you. Don't believe your eyes. They're seeing only lies. What is done in the first place don't concern you. Relay, there's something doing, relay to revolution, hand me down a solution. That song, that delivery, that whole arrangement of it, to me, is The Who in perfection. And it's on this box. The original album, of course, I had on vinyl, and I've mentioned I bought the remastered CD, which is remixed, and the 2 CD version, which is remastered. They all sound different slightly, different packaging, different essays, different words, so they're all part of the Who's Next family of releases to me. But the original album, Babarali, of course, those power chords, that sequenced synthesizer introduction was so ahead of its time and so difficult for Pete Townsend to create back then. Now I could do it with the Clavinova that's sitting in front of me. But so different. And those, as I said, the power chords that come in, it's just a majestic rock song. And lyrics like Sally, take my hand, or travel south, cross land, put out the fire and don't look past my shoulder. This is before I ever had a girlfriend. This is, I'm a young kid, but it was kind of like imagery of moving away from a city and just not going in down the track of winding up in a factory, and just living your life and just being able to do what you want, having the freedom. And that song really, really brought it home to me. And of course, many of the others did that as well. But of course, the main ones, and I think that it's worth mentioning them. They'll be fighting in the street with our children at our feet, and the morals that we worship will be gone. And the people who spurred us on sit in judgment of all wrong. They decide, and the shotgun sings the song. Meet the old boss, meet the new boss, the same as the old boss. Those lines will never date, will they? They will never, ever date, because they're still, they're still relevant, no matter what political party you're interested in or anywhere else about life, whatever you work for, a bit of a crap boss or, whatever. This just works, doesn't it? It just absolutely works. I'm just trying to scan the things now. We won't get fooled again. Pick up my guitar and play just like yesterday. Then I'll get on my knees and pray. We won't get fooled again. Meet the new boss, the same as the old boss. Fantastic, absolutely. And of course, Behind Blue Eyes. No one knows what it's like to be the bad man, to be the sad man behind blue eyes. It's just a fantastic album. And yes, you can stream this, and you can stream the whole thing. And that's the other, maybe some of you probably don't know that, but a lot of these super deluxe editions, you can stream everything that's on them. So you don't need any of this paraphernalia, if that's how you view it. But for those of you who know, it's having all of this around you that really brings the music to life. And it's like, many of these songs have been the soundtrack of my life for such a long time, through every decade, in various places, in TV shows or the radio, or me just playing it anyway, or walking into a bar and it's playing in the background. These songs have collected memories. They've recorded what's been going on around you. And now, where I am now, I now have the ultimate set where I can recall those memories and also lay down new ones and understand more about what the creative process was from the absolutely wonderful musicians that created this in the first place. So that is Who's Next, Lifehouse, the Super Deluxe Edition, and why this album means so much to me. And yes, I'm playing relay a lot, I have to say. So music is the doctor and the healer. It really, really is. And this is a great, great box set. It's expensive, but who knows? Maybe that little shop in Finland will suddenly find another box of them. So keep looking. Take care, everybody. Stay safe. Keep spinning those discs. And I shall see you on my next video.